What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, and today I'm going to be ranking every single Gen 1 Pokemon in competitive Pokemon. It's going to be for singles though, Draft League, and of course Smogon. So if you guys are excited for it, leave a like on the video, and let's get started. Alright. So we have the S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier. There's missing a D tier, so I'm actually going to quickly add that in. We should have a D tier, so add a row above. I'll put this here as C, and then this one here will be D. So if you guys are excited, of course, leave a like on the video. Make sure to comment as well if you guys like this kind of stuff, and I'll bring you guys the next generations, the ones for Gen 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and eventually Gen number 9 as well. So I have a S, A, B, C, and D tier. I have a baby Pokemon tier, which can be for Pokemon that are just first forms that are not really drafted. And then there's G-Max for Pokemon that are going to be there, since those are separate. And of course duplicates, because for some reason there are some duplicates on this list. So starting off with Bulbasaur, it's a baby. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Ivysaur, I'm going to put at I'll put it as a D tier. For a not fully evolved Pokemon, it actually has some utility. It's decently bulky with an Eviolite, but again, just not all that. So I'm going to put it over here in the D tier. Venusaur will be in the B tier. Venusaur is a really solid Pokemon. Having a really good utility under the sun is nice with Chlorophyll. It's very offensive. Hits really hard with moves like Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb and Weather Ball and Earth Power. Has knockoff support as well. Has Leech Seed Synthesis. Very good Pokemon here, but is really not as good outside of the sun. Could be defensive though as well, which is nice. There is a Mega Venusaur here, which I'm going to put A tier. Thick Fat makes this thing not weak to ice or fire, which were two of its weaknesses before. Now it's weak to flying and psychic, and I believe that's it. So very, very strong Pokemon. Insanely bulky, insanely hard to take down. Its speed tier is like the one thing that's kind of lacking. It's base 80, I believe, which is not the best to have on a Mega Pokemon in my eyes. Here we have G-Max, Venusaur. Again, broken G-Max. We're not going to talk about it. We have a Charmander here. It's a baby. We have a Charmeleon. Charmeleon, honestly, is worse than Ivysaur. It does get Dragon Dance, but again, not all that when you have Ivysaur with comparison. Charizard. Regular Charizard is a C tier Pokemon. It's solid. It's much better in this gen because it has access to boots, but that's really kind of it. That's the only niche it gets over previous generations. My favorite Charizard set is a Sub-Salic Belly Drum set. It's very, very strong. It can just sweep a game out of nowhere, so keep that in mind. Mega Charizard X. Mega Charizard X is A tier. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put it as S tier. It's S tier. It's a really strong Pokemon when it comes to this format. When it comes to Pokemon in general, there's so few things that switch in on it, and it makes it really hard to be able to beat Charizard in a consistent way, especially if your team doesn't have priority rock moves or just a Pokemon that outspeeds it naturally and can take multiple +1 or even +2 attacks from this thing. Tough Claw's insane. Then there is A tier. I'm going to put it as Charizard Y as A tier, because this Pokemon, as good as it is, it loses to rocks because you can't have boots on it, and that does hurt a lot, especially in national decks. People are going to be preparing for that. They're going to have rockers to be able to deal with it, which is something to note. And it, in my eyes, it's so carried by the weather that if there's opposing weather, it makes it really tough to be able to win. But the combination of Mega Charizard Y and Venusaur is really cool to have. Then we have G-Max Charizard here. Squirtle can go over here. Wartortle, I'm going to put at the top of D tier. Wartortle actually has a lot of utility with Flip Turn, with Rapid Spin, Shell Smash. It's really bulky in general. It's a really solid Pokemon to have, and I think is the best of the three middle starter evolutions in Gen 1. Then we got Blastoise. Blastoise I'll put actually a bit higher than Venusaur. Venusaur I think relies a lot on having the sun support, while Blastoise doesn't need it. You have access to Shell Smash in this generation. Its coverage is really good. Ice Beam, Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, what else is there? Flip Turn, Rapid Spin, Life Dew if you need to have the recovery options. It's just a solid Pokemon that can do a lot of different things. Defensive, support with Rapid Spin, and then with Scald as well. And then you have Shell Smashing, offensive, a lot of good options. Mega Blastoise, I'm going to put in the A tier. When it comes to Generation 8, because it has access to Shell Smash now, I'm actually going to put it to S tier. I forgot about Shell Smash. It is way too good. This Pokemon is, I believe, 79 base speed with its investment. Let's double check that. Blastoise, Mega Blastoise is 78 base speed, excuse me, but it hits like an absolute truck. 135 special attack with Mega Launcher, and then you get Shell Smash on top of that. Regular Blastoise is hard enough to switch into. Imagine Shell Smashing Blastoise. Way too much. Shell Smashing Mega Blastoise, that is. Way too much. Really strong. Top of A tier, of S tier so far. Then we have G-Max Blastoise. This goes into here. Caterpie, yeah, no, this Pokemon here, I'm going to put as baby as well. We're just like, you know what, I'm going to create one last tier. We're going to call it, we're going to add a row above. Let's close this. We'll change the types. So we're going to put this as D tier. Let's put this up here, here, and here. This here will be bad NFEs. Okay, so these are bad, non-fully evolved Pokemon that we're just going to put over here. I'm like messing up the colors of these things, but who cares today? All right, let's close that. Okay, so bad NFEs is going to be this Pokemon here. Then we have Butterfree. We have a duplicate over here. So this Butterfree, I'm going to put Butterfree into the D tier. Now, Butterfree has access to a couple of really unique things, really niche things. Quiver Dance, Compound Ice Sleep Powder, Hurricane is nice. Tinted Lens is great to have as an ability. Just a really solid Pokemon to have access to. Again, not the most insane thing in the world, but again, it's just a Pokemon that's fine. D tier is again where we're going to put it. Gmax Butterfree, again, is Gmax. We're going to put it there. Then we have Weedle, again, as a trash. Banana Feast, Kakuna, regular Beedrill is going to go, I mean, I'll put it at the very bottom of D tier. Again, I need to make another tier. Because there's just like Pokemon, like Beedrill, like regular Beedrill, that are just bad. So add a row below. We're going to put this row. We'll color it something. We'll color it, I guess, black. And then we'll say just bad. This color does not work at all for me. Let's go this color here. Okay, let's close. So bad. We're going to put Beedrill. Beedrill's bad, okay? It's a bad Pokemon. So we're going to put it over here. Mega Beedrill, however, is really solid. I'm going to put it up here towards the top of B tier. Reason for that is its speed tier is fantastic. It has adaptability, which is insanely powerful on moves like U-Turn, on moves like Poison Jab, X-Scissor. Really strong here. It's Drillin to deal with Steel types. Very strong Pokemon. Kind of a shame we don't get to use Mega Beedrill in this Sword and Shield metagame. So, yeah. Next up, we have Pidgey. Again, bad here. Pidgeotto can go over here. Pidgeot. Pidgeot has some utility, very little utility, more than Beedrill. I'm going to put it as D tier, okay? And yeah, we'll keep it there for now. But Mega Pidgeot is good. I'm going to put it into B tier as well. Probably above regular Venusaur. It's insanely bulky. It's insanely fast. Just to give you a bit of an idea, Mega Pidgeot Mega is 83 HP, 80 defense, 80 special defense, which is really bulky, but it's also got 121 speed for like no reason. So you don't have to invest that much speed most of the time to be able to like really outspeed a lot of Pokemon. And special attack at 135 is insane. Really, really strong with no guard Hurricanes, really powerful no guard Heat Wave to deal with Steel types. Very strong. Not a lot of Pokemon can deal with this Pokemon. On top of that, it gets U-Turn, it gets Roost, Refresh. Really good way to beat a lot of Pokemon, and just is a good stall breaker because of that too. So yeah, Mega Pidgeot can go up there. Rattata, we have multiple Rattatas here. Let's put a couple in there. We have the Galar Rattata, or this is Unova Rattata, right? Unova? No, this is, what's this Rattata called? This Rattata is Alola, that's the one. Alola Rattata will go into the baby Pokemon. Raticate, we have duplicates, I'll put that here. But Raticate, regular Raticate, I'm going to put it as D tier because Guts Raticate actually has some utility. It gets Quick Attack, gets Flame Wheel, or Flame Charge rather. It gets Facade, it gets access to really powerful offensive moves, U-Turn as well. And its speed tier isn't terrible. It's got 97 base speed, which again is not bad at all. There's also Hustle if you want to run Hustle, but most of the time Guts is better. Then we have Alolan Raticate. I'm going to put this as bad. The only redeeming quality about this Pokemon is that its typing has a couple of immunities, an immunity to Psychic and immunity to Ghost, which is nice. But that's really the only redeeming qualities about this Pokemon at all. Spearow goes into the baby Pokemon. Fearow I'm going to put into D tier. Fearow has some utility. It gets access to Sniper, which is nice for like a Critra set or critting set. But it has a couple of really unique moves. It has Drill Run, Drill Peck as well, Heat Wave, Pursuit when the move was available, not anymore. Throat Chop is there, U-Turn again is nice. Mostly you're going to be clicking like U-Turn, but its speed tier for some reason is at base 100. I get that it's a flying type Pokemon, it should be kind of fast, but it's 100 base speed, which is again not bad. So you see here, we have a lot more Pokemon in the D tier and the bad NFEs than we do in the S tier right now, which is kind of crazy. Next up, Ekans. Ekans I'm going to put as a baby. Arbok will go into the D tier as well. Arbok as a D tier makes sense because this thing only has one redeeming quality, and that's going to be the Intimidate. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put it a little bit higher. I'll put it above all these things here, even above Butterfree, because Intimidate is nice. Having Coil is nice, having Glare is nice, having all these abilities, these moves that not everyone does get access to is really, really cool. So we'll keep that here. Pikachu. Pikachu is not just a baby Pokemon. Pikachu is actually solid. I'm going to put it above, I'll put it below the Wartortle. Now, Pikachu get with a Light Ball is absolutely insane. This Pokemon is ridiculous. It just, for some reason, it hits so damn strong. It's got really decent speed. I believe Pikachu has like 100 base speed or something. It has 90 base speed, which is amazing. It gets Surf, it gets access to Grass Knot, it gets access to Nasty Plot. There's a ton of really awesome moves. Good support options as well with like Nuzzle, Volt Switch as well. There's a solid Pokemon all around that people really kind of overlook, which I find to be a bit of a, well, it's an unfortunate situation. Okay, now we have all the Pikachu forms, which can all just like fuck off and go away. Leave me alone, please. Let's just put all of them here. Like, oh my god, why are there so many of these things? There should not be this many duplicate Pikachus. Like, I'm sorry, does it need this many hats? What the hell? There's a Raichu, let's put that there. So, next up, regular Raichu. C tier. With access to Hidden Power being gone, regular Raichu becomes one of the better fast electric types. Not one of the only like elite of the elite, like Coco or Zera or something like that. But it gets 110 base speed, gets access to a lot of support moves, knockoff, nuzzle, volt switch. It gets taunt as well, I believe. I could be mistaken on that. But Raichu in general is just a solid Pokemon all around. It does not get taunt, so my bad. But it does get access to Nasty Plot, has good coverage options, scary moves in Dazzling, not Dazzling, what is it called? I think it's Draining Kiss. It does get Draining Kiss. It gets Grass Knot, it gets Surf, it gets Focus Blast, the electric moves, Nasty Plot as well. Very, very strong to deal with a Raichu. So yeah, moving on to the next Pokemon, it's Alolan Raichu. Alolan Raichu has, in theory, higher upside than Raichu. In practice, because we're not looking at this with combinations with other Pokemon, I'm looking at it below. C tier here is the Raichu. Now, its typing is solid. Electric and Psychic is really good. That's really the kind of the most they can do. It gets access to decent coverage options. In certain situations, this Pokemon just absolutely nukes things. Surge Surfer with the right team support is really strong, but outside of that, you're kind of just a regular Raichu that's a bit worse. So, yeah. Next up, we have a couple of babies. We have the Alolan Sandslash, Sandshrew, and the regular Sandshrew. Sandslash, I'm going to put into the C tier. I find Sandslash to be super underrated. This Pokemon is really strong, and having the ability to have not only Rapid Spin, but Spikes and Stealth Rocks is insane. I'm just going to do a quick little test here. Spikes, Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin. The only Pokemon that get access to those three moves are going to be Fortress, Colossal, Sandslash, Alolan Sandslash, and then like the pre-evolutions of those Pokemon. That's it. So it's a really unique thing here, and it's the only one that doesn't have a 4 times weakness as well. Regular Sandslash, that is. So it can be taken advantage. It can be taken advantage of as easily. So yeah, that's going to be Sandslash. Next up is going to be Alolan Sandslash. This Pokemon, again, really good when it comes to having Hail support. So we'll put it here. It doesn't need as much support, I think, as it's not as one-dimensional, I think, as Alolan Raichu. That's why it's over here. It has some utility because it can set manual hail for itself. It gets access to the ability to break through teams because Ice type is really strong. But again, I don't think it's just as bad as D tier. I think it has some utility, but yeah, we'll put it over here in the C tier. We have Nidoran Female, which we can put over here in Baby. Nidorina, we'll put into Bat and FEs. We'll do the same thing. We'll do here with this, with the other Nidos as well. But Nidoqueen, let's put Nidoqueen up here in the B tier. And we'll do the same thing with Nidoking while we're at it. And you know what? I'm actually going to put Nidoqueen higher than everything else. I'll put it into the A tier. I think Nidoqueen is better than Nidoking. Now, why is that? It's not as fast, but it hits basically just as hard. Not as hard, but again, it's close. But the real reason why it's here is because it actually has a lot of utility on the defensive side. It's much bulkier, and you kind of want to have that. You don't need to have the extra power that Nidoking provides. You have insane coverage already with Life Orb, Sheer Force. You just need to have to take hits from things. Set up your Rock, set up your Toxic Spike. At that point, you're basically set. So in general, I think Nidoqueen is a bit better than Nidoking. Nidoking is still really fast though, and that's why it's over here in the B tier. Stay hydrated, kids. It's still in the B tier. Good Pokemon. Overall, just gives me kind of what you need in terms of an offensive breaker, but doesn't really give you much else other than that. Defensively, its typing is solid, but nothing else more than that. Its stats don't really lend to being defensive. Next up, Clefairy. This Pokemon here is going to go into the C tier. It is definitely better than everything so far in the D tier. Usually in like draft leagues, you'll see it around like 4 or 5 points. It gets access to the Eviolite, which makes it super bulky, has access to Magic Guard as well, which is, again, really nice, has a way to break through teams and just support team really well with Wish, Thunder Wave, Knockoff, etc. Super solid here. Clefable. Clefable is going to go up. I need to go higher, not there. We're going to put it all the way in the A tier, at the top of A tier. I don't think it's better than the other Charizards, the Charizard and the Blastoise, but having access to Unaware, having access to Magic Guard as well, makes a nice 50-50, has a ton of good reliable recovery options, has Teleport as well, a ton of good support moves, can set up and sweep out of nowhere with Calm Mind, not Iron Defense, but Calm Mind with, I think, Cosmic Power as well. Those are the main things you're looking at when it comes to Clefable. Next up, Vulpix. So both Vulpix, actually, I'm going to put into just bad, because I've seen them actually drafted before. They're not necessarily babies. In regular leagues, in regular just Pokemon, Smogon in general, I've seen these Pokemon get drafted, get used because they don't want to use the evolutions, which is fair. But again, they're really only there for the range, so I'll put it into the bad. And next up, we have the Ninetales. This thing, again, I'll put into D tier, I think. No, it'll go into C tier. It hits hard, it has Sun for itself, which is nice, can hit really hard with the Sun, which is good. Its coverage is decent, but in general, it's just, again, there are better options for Fire types, in my opinion. Alolan Ninetales will go up into the B tier, mostly because it gets access to Veil, which is, again, a step above a regular Ninetales. 100% accurate Blizzard is insane. Freeze Dry is insane. Moonblast, great typing. So our ability move, that's what I want to say. But yeah, in general, I think it's a lot better than regular Ninetales. Next up, Jigglypuff can go into the baby tier. Wigglytuff will go into the bottom of a D tier. I think Wigglytuff has some utility as a normal type, as a fairy type. Obviously, it's not resisting fighting, which is important to note, but it is immune to Ghost, which is cool. It gets access to a lot of good support moves: Wish, Thunder Wave, Knockoff, Heal Bell, Teleport, Stealth Rocks, a lot of good utility, so can definitely be used. I think, honestly, it's going to be higher than all of these Pokemon here. Maybe Pikachu will definitely be higher up, I think, but in general, I think it definitely has a lot of useful. So let's put up this higher. Charmeleon is me at the bottom of this tier, and I keep it like around this. This makes sense. Next up, Zubat. So we have a duplicate Zubat, so we'll put the Zubat over here. Let's put this in the baby. Golbat is going to be a good NFE, excuse me. Let's put this in the D tier. A lot less useful in Sword and Shield metagame, but it still has a lot of utility. It can take a lot of hits. Its typing is not bad at all. It 4 times resists fighting. It's immune to ground, which is solid. Gets access to U-turn, has recovery, has taunt, is decently fast, and with the Violet is really bulky. So again, a D tier makes a lot of sense here. This is a duplicate. Oddish can go into baby. Gloom has a duplicate. Regular Gloom I'll put into bad NFE. I'm just gonna put into bad, okay? I think Gloom has a bit more utility than the other Pokemon that are here. It has some bulk, which is nice, has some status options, which is good, so that really is something you should be focusing on too. Vileplume, I'm going to be putting up into C tier. Vileplume has a lot of utility, especially now with Strength Sap. Has Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Moonblast, has access to Stun Spore, I believe, Poison Powder, all these things. You're not really running Poison Powder, running Toxic instead, but Sleep Powder is the main thing. It can do quite a few different things and is really, really bulky, solid Pokemon all around. Paris is a baby. Parasect is just bad. The only redeeming quality about Parasect is that it gets Spore, but it's so weak to so many different things. Like, I don't understand the point about having this Pokemon here. It's not a good Pokemon, so we're gonna put it into bad. Venonat and Venomoth. So Venonat goes in baby. Venomoth has Quiver Dance, and that makes it bare minimum C tier, and probably a bit higher than a couple of these things. I'll put actually highest at the top of C tier. Now, getting up one Quiver Dance with, by the way, Tinted Lens, Bug Buzz, Sludge Bomb, Psychic, Shadow Ball. You have a ton of really awesome coverage moves that can just break through a team. I've seen Venomoth's sweep, and honestly, I kind of want to try Venomoth again in Draft League because it's so strong. Issue is its typing it's just okay. It absorbs Toxic Spikes, which is nice, but that's really the only redeeming quality other than what I mentioned before with Quiver Dance. Next up, we have Diglett and Alolan Diglett. So Alolan Diglett, I'm going to put into, I'm going to put into baby because Alolan Diglett is just terrible. Regular Diglett is a bad NFE. This Pokemon here I have seen show up, and it has done some work, trapping something in for like one turn, but it dies. It's not a good Pokemon. Its attack stat is nothing. Its speed stat is 100, I believe, which is the only redeeming quality other than a Ring Trap, so be aware of that. Dugtrio can go into the B tier. Trapping things is really, really good, especially in a format where not everyone knows if you're running Shed Shell or if you're going to be running a Dugtrio. In Smogon, I believe that Arena Trap and Shadow Tag are banned, so again, that doesn't really apply to that, but in general, trapping is so good, and that's why it's here. If trapping was not a thing, it would be in the bad tier, but we're going to put it into the B tier because trapping is that good. Next up, Alolan Dugtrio can go into the D tier, probably a bit higher. Let's put it over here. Let's put it around this range here. Now, reason for it is because it is a ground type that is fast, and it can hit decently hard, especially with Sand Up. It gets access to rocks. It is technically a steel type, and that's good to break through certain Pokemon as well. So again, that's the main focus here. But in general, just you don't want it as your primary ground or your primary steel. As a backup ground or steel, it's solid and gives you access to support with Stealth Rocks. Meowth. Meowth is a baby. We have our next Gmax, can go over there. Nope, this Meowth here is also a baby. Berserker, no, this is Galar Meowth. Let's put that here. There's really no Persian? Where's the Persian? They really just didn't put in Persian here. Unless I'm missing it somehow, but Persian is not here. Anyways, Psyduck, baby. Golduck, bad. Golduck, did you know Golduck actually beats Primal Groudon 1v1 because of Cloud 9. That's really the only appealing aspect for it. I don't really think it has much utility other than that. Like, it's really only used in certain situations when you're really worried about like opposing sand, sun, something like that. But again, it's a Golduck. It's not that bulky. It's not going to hit that hard. You really don't need to have something like this Pokemon on your team at all. Next up, Mankey and Primeape. Mankey goes into the babies. Primeape has a lot of utility. Let's put Primeape up higher than the D tier. Let's put it actually towards the top of D tier. Now we'll put in C. So Primeape it's one of the few fighting types with U-turn as well, which is awesome. A couple others are like Mienshao or Shifu, which is kind of really good Pokemon. This Pokemon hits hard. Its speed, I believe, is base 85, which again is not great. Prime Ape is Prime Ape is 95. Excuse me, that's actually much better than I expected. But the main appeal for it is that it disincentivizes Defog because you have access to Defiant, which again is a pretty important thing to note. So keep that in mind when you're looking at Pokemon potential fighting types. Primeape could definitely be a Pokemon you could be interested in. You should be interested in, at least, I should say. Growlithe and Arcanine. Growlithe, baby. Arcanine. Oh my god, I'm running out of space. Arcanine, nope, not bad. Arcanine will go up into the B tier. Okay, Arcanine is good. It kind of is pigeonholed into running boots a lot of the time now because it has that option. Leftovers is good, Helmet is good, Intimidate is nice, Flash Fire is nice, obviously, all these things are good. Its offensive move pool is really solid, Play Rough, Crunch, Bulldoze, Flare Blitz, Close Combat, Iron Head, Wild Charge, all these things are really solid. But I feel like Arcanine, its reputation precedes it. It's better in theory than it actually is, so I'm gonna put it over here in the B tier. It's still a good mon, don't be wrong, but again, I think it most of the time ends up doing a lot less than what people expect it to do. Next up, Poliwag can go in the babies, Poliwhirl can go in the bad NFEs, then we have Poliwrath, which will go into D tier. Now, I actually recently won a title with a Poliwrath on my team. It was in a league where Poliwrath was one of my like 3 best Pokemon, but Poliwrath in general is super strong, has an immunity to water, which is nice, the Scald Absorber, which is good. It's good on the physical side with Drain Punch, Close Combat, Liquidation, Ice Punch, can Belly Drum, Sweep. It's just a solid Pokemon overall, but again, not really anything too crazy, so I'll put it over here into the D tier. Over Wartortle though. Next up, Abra, Kadabra, and Alakazam. So Abra is a baby, Kadabra is a duplicate, there's also a duplicate Alakazam. So Kadabra will go up to D tier. Kadabra actually has a good bit of utility because of Magic Guard and Sash Counter. It's just a way to stem the bleeding against a lot of different teams, and most of the time it's a very inexpensive Pokemon to add in terms of Draft League. So really look into Kadabra if you have a chance. If you want something that is just a backup Psychic type that is actually decently fast at 105, I think it's a good Pokemon to look into. Alakazam, again, Alakazam is going to be high up here. We're going to put it into the A tier. I'll put it actually higher than the Nidoqueen. Come on out, there we go. Alakazam is really good. Very strong Pokemon. Having access to, again, Sash Magic Guard, really good. Life Orb Magic Guard as well, powerful. 120 base speed is insane. Its coverage is solid. Really the best thing. The only problem is like, the best way it can hit Steel types is like Focus Blast, which again is not accurate. It's 70%, which is not great. But if you get a Nasty Plot up with Life Orb and you hit that 70%, oh my god, it is so strong. So yeah, I'll put it up here. Now Mega Alakazam. Mega Alakazam can go to the top of S tier and stay the fuck away from standard play. This Pokemon is so damn good. 150 base speed. A special attack ability is like 137 if I'm not mistaken. Alakazam is 175 as a special attack. Insane. Coverage, crazy. Trace to get through any weather shenanigans with like any rain sweepers or whatever. In general, just a fantastic Pokemon. Its only real downside is that it's weak on the physical side. 55 HP, 50 attack, 65 defense. But Pursuit is gone. You can't even Scarf Pursuit trap this thing anymore. So that's why it's so high up on the list. Or one of the reasons why it's so high up on the list. Next up, Machop can go into the baby tier. Machoke is a bad NFE. No, it's actually just bad. Okay, it's not a bad NFE. I would rather have Machoke than any of these other Pokemon here. But again, I'd probably have it over this maybe. Ooh. Again, we're looking at like this. This is not completely accurate, but Machoke honestly would be one of the topper something Pokemon over here. Just has some utility as a Flame Orb, Guts Absorber, whatever you want to call it. Machamp, super underrated. I'm going to put it into C tier though. Has a way to just break through a lot of different teams. Guts Machamp hits so damn hard. His real weakness is its speed stats, but defensive Machamp as well is really cool. It's got really solid defensive stats. Has access to knockoff for support, facade, close combat, bullet punch for priority is nice. Really wish it got Mach Punch, but it doesn't. It gets Vacuum Wave instead, which like stupid, but whatever. Again, really good Pokemon. Gmax Machamp in VGC, it's like really good. But here, when I say Gmax Machamp, Gmax Machamp goes into the Gmaxes. Forgot we were doing Gmaxes. My bad. Bellsprout, baby. Weeping Bell, bad NFE. Victory Bell. This thing here I will put into the D tier. It is really good under Sun, and that's it. Other than that, it's just absolutely terrible. There's no benefit on having it at all if you're not running a Sun team. So we'll put it there. Tentacool, baby. Tentacruel will go up to the C tier, to the top of C tier. I personally believe Tentacle is a lot worse than a lot of other people, so I'm putting it in C tier. I'd see an argument for it in B tier, but Tentacle for the time being will be C tier. Toxic Spikes is nice, Knockoff is good, Liquid Ooze has its utility options. It's decently fast. For some reason, this thing's 100 base speed, which makes no sense. I'm super surprised about that. But hey, what are you gonna do? Moving on, Geodude, baby. Alolan Geodude, baby. Graveler, bad NFV. Alolan Graveler, bad NFV. Golem. I want to put it in bad, but I'll put it into D tier. No, I'll put it into bad. It's bad. Doesn't really do much. Alolan Golem, though, has utility with Magnet Pull. That's the one. Magnet Pull with Volt Switch. It's just a solid Pokemon all around. Again, just a good backup option for some really niche situations, but I think it's better than having regular Golem on a team, that's for sure. Ponyta and Galar Ponyta will go into the baby tier. Rapidash will go up to the, I'll put in the D tier. Speed at 105, again, really strong here. Its coverage is fantastic for some reason, like high horsepower, Flare Blitz, Play Rough, Mega Horn. It's just, again, the really solid moves. It gets access to Swords Dance, gets access to Flame Charge. I think it gets Mystical Fire as well. I gotta double check that. I have a Rapidash on my team, I should know that. I believe it does get Mystical Fire. It does, which is a fantastic move, really good utility move. So that is something to note, but even then, it's just got really well-rounded stats and has an immunity potentially to fire, which again, not everyone does. Moving on, we have the Galar Rapidash, which I'm going to put up to just D tier and low D tier though. I don't think it's as good as a regular Rapidash. Very strong in certain metagames, but having the ability to just be not toxic is nice. Its stab options are really strong, but I just don't see it having as much utility as a lot of other Pokemon. Has some options again with like Swords Dance, with again it gets like Play Rough, it gets I think it's like Zen Headbutt or Psychic, some Psychic move, Psycho Cut. I think it gets a good high horsepower or whatnot. In general, it's just a solid Pokemon to have access to. Galarian Rapidash is, but not like the best. I mean, it does get Iron Head, Low Kick, high horsepower, Mystical Fire as well. But like the main thing I'm trying to point with this is like there are better options. And one of the biggest advantages of having Rapidash is an immunity to a fire type. While having Galarian Rapidash, you usually want to have a better fairy type and usually want to have a better psychic type. Having Rapidash as your fire type is good. It's fine. Moving on. Slowpoke. Galar Slowpoke. Come on, Galar Slowpoke, you can go there. Good. Slowbro. We will put Slowbro in the A tier. Slowbro is really good, and I'll also put Mega Slowbro up to the A tier as well. Now, I think Mega Slowbro has a lot of utility over regular Slowbro. It doesn't get regen anymore, which actually, because of that, I'm going to put Slowbro, Mega Slowbro below. Regen is so nice, but the fact that you can't beat crit makes this Pokemon, in my opinion, much better as an offensive sweeper with like Rest, Iron Defense, Calm Mind, and then you can just run one attacking move and you can kind of just win, which is insane to think about, unless your opponent starts boosting up, which again is something to note, or they have Taunt, but you can't beat crit, which is good. But the big upside of having a Slowbro over a Mega Slowbro, that's it, Mega Slowbro, is that this thing gets regen. This thing can just come in, soak up any hit, and then switch out. Having boots on regular Slowbro is very, very powerful. Trick Room Slowbro is great. It's just a very strong Pokemon that can do a lot of different things. One of the best water types in general, one of the best psychic types in general. Highly recommend Slowbro on basically any team, whether it's Smogon, OU, Ubers, Draft League, whatever. Next up, Galar Slowbro. This Pokemon here, I'm going to put into the C tier. It has some utility, has access to Regenerator. It's just not as good as regular Slowbro. Its typing isn't as good, and it's not as good as Galarian Slowking. It's still solid, don't get me wrong, but there's such a huge drop-off, I find, between the A tier Slowbro and eventually you're going to see the S tier Galarian Slowking, or no, it'll probably be A tier or B tier, and the Galar Slowbro. So there's just a pretty big drop-off. Next up, we're going to see Magnemite and Magneton. So Magnemite goes into baby. Magneton will come up here and on to bad. We're going to put it into C tier. Ability to trap steel types is nice, especially if your team doesn't like to deal with something like Skarmory or Corviknight or something like that. Really good. The ability to break through them is nice as well. Volt Switch, Flash Cannon, Analytic is great. Magnet Pull, again, like I mentioned before, has a lot of utility. Most of the time you want your steel type to get rocks though, which is not the case, and most of the time you want to be defensive. It doesn't really do either of those things, so that is something to note, but it has its use on certain teams. Next up, Farfetch'd and Galar Farfetch'd will go into, well, Galar Farfetch'd will go into the baby tier because it evolves, but this one will go into bad NFE because it's a bad NFE. Then Doduo, we have a duplicate, so put this into the baby. We have Dodrio, one of them is a duplicate. Dodrio has, again, utility. We're going to put it into the D tier. It has, again, some usefulness. Yeah, actually, what am I doing? I'm putting Fearow into bad. I'm putting this into bad. A lot of these models can go into bad, to be honest. I'll put Charmeleon into bad here. I'll put Raticate into bad. because like I think we've kind of established there's a bit of a difference between the D tier and the bad tier now. So let's make a bit of an adjustment. Dodrio has a lot more utility, I find, than a lot of these other Pokemon. It's just super offensive, can hit really hard, has access to a lot of powerful moves, jump kick to deal with steel types that resist its stab options, U-turn as well, which is good. Its speed is solid, it can set up and win. It's just a really good Pokemon all around. That has a lot of utility. Seal and Dugong. Let's put Seal over here. Let's put Dugong into the bad tier. Dugong is just bad. It doesn't really do much. Let's pull up Dugong here on Showdown so I can tell you guys exactly. Dugong has Thick Bat, which I guess is the biggest advantage to it because it now 8 times resists ice, which again does make a difference, and it now resists fire. That's really it. Its stats are just Its highest stat is 95 special defense and then 90 HP with 80 in its defense and 70 in the rest of its stats. It's just not all of that. Doesn't really do much for you. No flip turn, no access to special moves. I guess Ice Shard, I guess, which is cool, but like, no, let's stop talking about it. Grimer, baby, a Alolan Grimer that is. Muck, which will go to bad. Muck is bad. It's not good. But because it gets the dark typing, when it's Alolan, it becomes better. It's really solid here. With Gluttony, getting the ability to recover back up HP with the Super Recovery Berries, the 33%ers, is nice, like the Agua Berry or the Figgy Berry. Again, really solid here. But also on top of that, Stab Knockoff is nice. Poison Touch can be really useful in certain situations. Assault Death Set is insanely difficult to take down. One weakness in Ground, one immunity in Psychic. But again, the weakness in Ground can be kind of countered by a lot of different things in the metagame. So again, a really solid Pokemon. I'll put it in C tier, towards the top of C tier. And we have 4 poison types making the top 4 of C tier so far. Next up, Shelter's the baby. Gastly's the baby. I'll do that here right now. Cloyster. Now Cloyster I'm going to put into C tier as well. Cloyster gets Toxic Spikes, gets Spikes, gets ability to break things with Shell Smash, which is nice. It's just not as good as Blastoise, but it can win a game like that because it has access to Sturdy, which is huge. Most of the time you're running Focus Sash instead of Sturdy, but you need to have priority and like special moves to break this Pokemon, which is again something you need to note. We'll put it over here. Haunter. Haunter has some utility. Haunter I'm going to put into D tier. Again, very good Pokemon. It does kind of what you need it to do. It's decently fast, has access to really strong moves, Shadow Ball, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, etc. Has Destiny Bond for support, Will-O-Wisp again for support as well. But the main thing that you want to look at with Haunter as a ghost type, if you don't have a ghost type on your roster, Haunter is a suitable replacement. It's a suitable option for you. I actually pick it up higher probably than everything but Rapidash on this list, but it's still a really good Pokemon, and let's put this up higher too. It's just a good Pokemon. Gengar now. Gengar is Gengar. Let's put Gengar where it deserves to be, in the A tier. I'll put it actually... it definitely makes up one of these slots here, and the reason I'm going to put it up over here in the very top, if this will go like this. Reason for that is because Gengar, there's no more Pursuit, which is huge. Gengar's speed, attack stat, nasty plot, coverage, all these things put together makes Gengar an absolute menace to deal with. Would highly recommend getting Gengar. I'm using it for one of the first times myself in a coming league, and I'm super excited for it, so make sure to stick around for that. Moving on, Mega Gengar. Straight to the S tier. Insane Pokemon, really fast. Can hit insanely hard. I believe that Life Orb Gengar actually it's kind of harder than regular Gengar does or regular Mega Gengar does, but it's faster. Shadow Tag is really good to be able to take advantage of slow things, so keep in mind that. S tier for sure. G-Max Gengar is G-Max. Onix is bad. Well, it's technically a bad NFE. Drowsy, nope. Hypno, we see a duplicate. Hypno is again, we're gonna put it as bad. Again, pretty straightforward. Krabby, nope. Kingler is regular Kingler is bad. G-Max Kingler is G-Max. Regular Kingler has, again, like agility with knockoff and sheer force moves and liquidation and close combat. I believe it gets close combat. Anyways, it gets fighting moves, it gets bug moves, it gets knockoff, it gets water moves. It's okay, just again, there's so many better options. Voltorb is a baby, if I can put down Voltorb in the baby section. Electrode is D tier. Has some utility, 150 base speed, screen support. It's just like a worse Regieleki. But honestly, is Regieleki really worse? Which one? Who knows? But I think that Electrode has some utility. That's why we're putting it in D tier. Execute is a baby. Executor will go into the D tier. Has some utility. Trick Room offense. Being defensive is nice. It's actually faster than you expect, which is kind of crazy. It hits really damn hard. Problem is, it's 4 times weak to U-turn, and U-turn is so damn common. So I kind of feel like having an Executor on your team is just kind of not the best. You know what? No, I'll put it into bad. I'm gonna put it into bad. Then Alolan Executor, this here will go into the D tier. Definitely deserves to be up high like that. Really good Pokemon in certain situations. Sets up Trick Room for itself, can break things. Its typing is really cool, Dragon and Grass, and can be physical special, has a lot of options, and is just a really strong Pokemon in a lot of situations. Next up, Cubone, Baby, Marowak. Regular Marowak is going to be in the D tier. I think it's better than bad. The issue is it better than bad? It's a serviceable ground type to have, but I'm still going to put it in bad. I think there are other options that you want to go with, because if you want to be really threatening offensively, it has to carry the Thick Club, and other than that, it's just a ground type with like no ability other than like Rockhead. But again, if you're running Rockhead, you want to hit hard, so you would run your Thick Club. Then you can have Recovery, so not the best. Alolan Marowak is another situation though. This Pokemon here, I'm going to put into C tier. It actually has quite a bit of utility, having essentially 3 immunities to normal, fighting, and electric with Lightning Rod is solid. Having access to Rockhead, so you can go for Flare Blitzes, freely is strong. Has Poltergeist, has Shadow Bone, both of which are really strong options. Earthquake is nice, has Knockoff for support, has just a lot of utility. The problem is it's just pretty slow, so you have to be using it in Trick Room offensively, or against something that doesn't get access to Knockoff. That's really kind of what you're looking at over here. Next up, Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee is the best of the current Hitmons in my eyes. I'm putting the C tier. It has access to Unburden, which is cool, has access to Knockoff, has access to a ton of really powerful offensive attacks, close combat, high jump kick if you want to run that. One of the coolest sets is going to be a curse set with a White Herb, because then you pop your Unburden, because there's the drop in the speed stats. You get the regular attack and defense boost, kind of like a bulk up, but you're then at +2 speed essentially because you have the Unburden. I know it's not exactly +2 speed, but you know what I mean. Moving on, Hitmonchan. It gets Rapid Spin, which is good. I'm still putting it in D tier though. I don't think it's as good as the other Pokemon, but it is near the top of D tier, providing a lot of utility and can be very offensive, very specially defensive too with an Assault Vest. A lot of punching moves: Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Drain Punch, Electric Punch, Thunder Punch. So yeah, some really good options there. Lickitung actually has some utility. I'm gonna put it in bad, but it's not a bad NFE. It's not as bad. Okay, I think there's some utility to have with this Pokemon here. And you know what? I'm putting Gloom back down here. Am I? Yeah, I'm putting Gloom back down here. It's not that good. All right, Tangela. Tangela is a D tier Pokemon, I'd say. Better than all of these. Better than this. Better than. We'll put it around here. So I think that Tangela has a lot of utility in certain situations. It's actually nice because it gets access to Knockoff, gets access to Sleep Powder, has Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb. Its attack stat, special attack stat rather, is really good, and it kind of just checks any physical Pokemon that's not like a Fire, Ice, or something, or Flying type. So that is something to note, or Bug type at least. But its special defense is not great, but it can still take some special hits. Problem is, it's a little bit passive at times, which is why it's so low. Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan, I have a lot of respect for. I think Kangaskhan is a low C tier, high D tier. It depends on what kind of league you're playing on. If you're playing with something with like a lot of broken stuff, if you're playing with a lot of broken stuff, I'd put it higher than C tier to be honest. But because it's just like a wish supporter, something that's just a little bit supportive in standard draft leagues or in just regular competitive Smogon play, I'm putting it as D tier. Mega Kang is A tier. I'm not putting it S tier. Now, that might be surprising a lot of people, but Parental Bond got weakened from the first generation it was available to the next, which is something to note. But at the same time, people run Rocky Helmets and you're kind of screwed. So just be aware about that. I do think there are some weaknesses to it. I think I would rather have Gengar, honestly, over Mega Kang. If Seismic Toss is allowed, straight to S tier. But I'm probably going to say I'd rather have a lot of these Pokemon over Mega Kangaskhan, to be honest. So that is something to note. Next up, Horsea and Seadra. So Horsea is a baby. Seadra is a bad NFE. Then we have Goldeen, can go over here as a baby. Duplicate Seaking is just bad. Gets access to an electric immunity with Lightning Rod, which is cool, so keep that in mind. Starmie is a baby. And then we have Staryu, rather, baby. Starmie can go into the A tier. Starmie has a lot of utility, a lot of speed. 110 speed is nice. I believe it's 110 or 115 speed. I think it's 115 actually. Recovery, Rapid Spin is good. Meteor Beam is a really cool set. Speed boosting as well with Rapid Spin is nice. Coverage is really good. So just keep in mind this Pokemon has a lot of utility. I'll put it in A tier for sure. Next up, Mr. Mime is... I want to put bad because it's a Mr. Mime, but like I've actually lost with Mr. Mime because I just didn't prep for it. So I'll put it as low D tier. Low D tier though, okay? Mr. Mime Galar will be in the same tier. I think it's just, again, not great. Gets Rapid Spin though, which is kind of cool. So keep that in mind again, but its typing is just whatever. I'd rather have Ice Psychic, Ice Fairy rather. No, Fairy Psychic than Ice Psychic. So yeah. Moving on. Scyther, let's put this one here in duplicate. This one here will go all the way up to C tier. I have a lot of respect for Scyther. It's possible that a lot of these Pokemon you're going to see in D tier are tiered higher than Scyther is, but Scyther has Technician and was Boots, so its typing is not a disadvantage to it. It has access to Defog, U-Turn, Bug Bite for Technician boosted moves, Dual Wing Beat is Technician boosted, it's fast at 105 base speed, Swords Dance is nice. I remember when Boots first came out, when this Pokemon was released, I was like, and when Dual Wing Beat was around, everyone wanted Scyther, everyone. And it shows why. It's a good Pokemon. It's a solid Pokemon all around. Hits really hard. Just you gotta get a boost, gotta have some setup for it. But again, very strong Pokemon in the right situation. Next up is Jinx. Now Jinx is D tier. It's fine. It's a Jinx. I mean, it's not that fast. Hits decently hard. Has an immunity to water with Dry Skin, but like that's really it. Electabuzz. Electabuzz has an immunity, I believe. Right? Immunity, Electabuzz? Electabuzz. Oops, that's the wrong place. The Electabuzz. It does not have immunity. I'm actually now going to put it lower into the bad tier. I know, yeah, it's a bad tier, not bad NFTs. Magmar. For some reason, I see Magmar getting drafted. I don't know why. It gets teleport, I guess, which is cool. I'm still going to put it in the bad tier because it's not that good, but hey, it's a Magmar. Pinsir. Pinsir is going to go into tier D. I think it has some utility. Because that's the rocks. Scarf Moxie is really strong, so just keep that in mind. Mega Pinsir is insane. Flying is one of the hardest moves to switch into on the game. I'm putting it A tier over S tier because rocks are a thing. You can't run boots on this thing. But stab, flying, quick attack, it doesn't get return anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. I believe it gets body slam. I should double check that. Pinsir with body slam. It does get body slam, so that's important to note. To do really good damage, can potentially paralyze some things. Has close combat to break through opposing steel types, which would resist. Earthquake, same deal. Problem is, you're not really running much in terms of your bug coverage. It's like Exeter, which you're not really going to run very often. Unless you need something for like a psychic type, which in that case, you might as well run knockoff or throat chop. So yeah, we'll put it over here in the A tier. Next up, Tauros. Tauros can go to the high D tier, low C tier. We'll say low C tier. Tauros is fast. 110 speed for no reason. Again, makes no sense why it's this fast. Has really good coverage. Sheer Force Life Orb is strong with Body Slam. Lost Rock Climb, which does suck, but is still, again, very, very powerful. So just keep that in mind. Its coverage is decent, but again, it just lacks a few things to be able to do more than just one thing, which is, again, just be an offensive breaker that it kind of is. So, yeah. We're already 42 minutes in. Holy shit. Well, here we have Magikarp. Magikarp is over here. We have a duplicate Magikarp. Here we have a Gyarados and a duplicate Gyarados. The Gyarados will go up to the B tier. I think Gyarados has a lot of utility with Dragon Dance, with Intimidates, with access to a lot of really good setup moves. Thunder Wave, a Stall Breaker Gyarados is really nice. I'm going to put it over here. Mega Gyarados. Mega Gyarados, again, really strong here, but it will go into B tier. I think it's actually about the same tier as this over here. I think it's definitely better than Mega Pidgeot is, but still, again, very strong Pokemon. I just don't see the jump from regular Gyarados to Mega Gyarados as being that insane. Keep in mind as well, the mind games of when to Mega Evolve with this Pokemon are very, very good to have. You want to know, are you going to be going for a Rock type move or an Electric type move and you want to take the hit because you go into your Mega form, or are you going to potentially take a Fighting type attack and you just stay in your regular form? That's important to note. Gmax Lapras we'll put over here, but regular Lapras we will put into the D tier. Regular Lapras has some utility. Freeze Dry is nice. It's one of the few water types that doesn't get scald, which hurts. It does have a water immunity, which is nice, but again, mostly what you're going to be drafting it for is like having some bulky water. So it's decent to have if you have a really offensive water like Crawdaunt on your team, but that's really it. Ditto. Depending on what it copies, it could be S tier, but I'm going to actually put it into the low C tier. Again, has some utility, but not a crazy amount, and just has the ability to do a couple different things that are really useful. Copying a Pokemon setting up, disincentivizing setup, breaking through a team that you may not have a switch into, but your opponent may not have a switch into as well. Could be nice, but it could be taken advantage of. Eevee is a baby, and this one here is a baby. This one here is a Gmax. We're not going to put it there. Okay, Vaporeon is the best of the current evolutions. It is going to go straight to B tier. Very good, bulky water, flip turns, water absorbs, wishes, protects, heal bells, all those things. Scald is nice to have as well. Just a really solid Pokemon. Jolteon is going to go into the bad tier. Jolteon is just bad now. Without hidden power, it's just bad. I don't care about the speed tier. Don't care that it has thunder, electric attacks. It's just bad now. Flareon. Flareon is also going to be in the bad tier. Has so many better options for fire types. Does get Flash Fire and Guts, so it can be offensive. Has some unique situations, but it's not all that. It really isn't. Next up, Porygon. Porygon we're going to put into the D tier. Yeah, surprising. Porygon, which is like 1 or 2 points, is like higher than a lot of these other Pokemon in the D tier, or in the bad tier rather, that are more expensive than it. Why? Well, Porygon actually is getting a lot more competitive play lately because it can check things like Dragapult. It's super bulky, has access to Teleport, Trick Room, has a way to break through a couple of things. Just in general, it's a solid Pokemon all around, and a really good backup normal type to have on a team, or even then if you have a good dark type, like Incineroar or something like that, or a Shifu or whatever, then this could be like your secondary or your only normal type really on a roster. Next up, Omanite. Praise Lord Helix, but you can go into the baby Pokemon. This here is Omastar. Omastar will go to the top of D tier. Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Rocks, Shell Smash, all these things are really nice, just it's B tier, kind of bad. Its move pool, again, also pretty iffy. It's like Water moves, Ancient Power, Meteor Beam, and like Ice Beam, and that's really it. So, yeah. Kabuto is a baby. Kabutops, really good in rain, but that's kind of it. I'm going to put it into D tier. Again, rain is like the main reason why you want to draft this thing. It does get Rapid Spin though in Swords Dance. I believe it gets Rapid Spin. Let me double check that quickly. Kabutops. Rapids, it does get Rapid Spin, very good. So yeah, it's a very strong Pokemon though because it has 115 attack. In the rain rather, its speed is insane, but that's really the best that I can say about this Pokemon. Next up, Aerodactyl. We're almost done, I swear. Aerodactyl is going to go into the C tier. Really good offensively, even better as a stally Pokemon with Taunt, with Roost, with Rocks, gets Defog, with Boost now is really solid. Its coverage moves are pretty solid as well. Crunch, Aqua Tail, Dual Wing Beat, Stone Edge, again, really good. Mega Aerodactyl though is much better. I'm gonna put Mega Aero towards the top of A tier, I believe. I want to put it really high up here. It's just a good Pokemon. 150 attack, Tough Claws boosted Stone Edges, or not even Stone Edge. Stone Edge is not Tough Claws boosted, but it's Tough Claws boosted Dual Wing Beats. Really strong. Gets Earthquake. Its coverage is really strong. So I think this Pokemon is insane. And one of the best parts about it is if you're playing Draft League, no one has anything close to 150 base speed unless it's like Mega Alakazam. For some reason, Zacian's around. I don't know. What else? I guess like that's really it. Like Dragapult, Zera, main things. But not everyone has those. So having access to a Pokemon's 150 speed, you don't have to invest fully and just really maximize your bulk, which is really nice in certain situations. Well, my cats came to say hi. I see a Gmax Snorlax. Let's put this over here. Regular Snorlax will go towards the... I've lost a lot of love for Snorlax, but I can't deny it's good. I'm going to put it into B tier. It's towards the end of B tier, but it's got some usefulness. I'm not a big fan anymore after what I've been able to do with it lately. It seems always passive, and usually when you want to hit hard or sweep, everyone has like a check or a counter to it. And when you need to be bulky and like be able to take hits, it doesn't really take the hits that you want it to, consistently at least. Moving on, we have Articuno, and we have all of the legendary birds. So Articuno, regular Articuno, in my opinion, is the worst of all 3 birds, all 6 birds I should say. I'm going to put into D tier. Then we have Galar Articuno, which is, again, not great, but I think it's better than regular Articuno. I'm going to also put it in D tier. Now, Zapdos. This is the best of all the birds. Oh my god, I'm all kinds of messed up. Come on now. I didn't even grab it. I thought I grabbed it. Where did I put regular Zapdos? This is good. There it is. Okay, I found it really quickly. So, regular Zapdos, I'm going to put high up here. I'm going to put all the way into A tier. If this was Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, oh my god, this Pokemon can go straight to F tier. It's terrible in regular Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl because of all the dex cuts. But Heat Wave, Hurricane, Defog, Static, Roost, U-Turn, Volt Switch, all these moves can be offensive, can be defensive, has so much utility, its speed is great, it's just such a well-rounded Pokemon, one of my absolute favorites. Next up, the Galar Zapdos. Again, solid Pokemon. I'm going to put it into the A tier, towards the end of A tier. Again, has some utility, but again, it's checked by quite a few different things, so just keep that in mind whenever you're playing with this Pokemon. Next up, we have Moltres. I really like Moltres. I really do. It would normally be like C tier. I kind of want to put a B tier, but like it's a C tier Pokemon. Let's put it towards the top of C tier though. It's very good. Then we have Galar Moltres. I'm going to use this thing. Hey, my cat knocked my thing down. What are you doing? This is my green screen. What is she doing? Oops. This Pokemon, I'm going to use it for the first time in the next little while, which is something to note. So I'm going to put it actually pretty high here in the C tier as well. Has some utility. It's actually a bulkier Mandibuzz, which makes sense why they didn't give it Roost. But it has U-Turn, has Taunt, has Berserk to be offensive, has Recovery and Rest and Sleep Talk, and can be annoying like that. But that's really the main factor when it comes to this. My cat is purring, so I hope you guys can't hear that through the mic, but she's like right next to it on my lap. But yeah, next up, Dratini is a baby. Dragonair is a bad NFE. Dragonite is a A-tier Pokemon. With Boots, it just can live so many different hits. There's just better Dragon Flying types available, but it is still an A-tier Pokemon in my eyes. Next up, we're looking at Mewtwo. Mewtwo is beyond S tier. It's so much higher than that. You know what I'll do? I'm going to quickly create let's create a tier at a row above, and we're going to call this Mewtwo. I'm going to put it over here. So Mewtwo can go over here. Mega Mewtwo X can also go up here. Mega Mewtwo Y can also go up here, but then we have Mew, and Mew is going to go straight to S tier. Mew will be the only non-Mega Pokemon that is going to be in the S tier in Gen 1, and I think with fair reason. A lot of the Pokemon Gen 1 got power crept, and that's kind of why a lot of them had the Mega Evolution gimmick given to them, but it's just such a strong Pokemon that can do basically any one thing, and arguably in a regular Draft League setting is one of the 3 best Pokemon, 4 best Pokemon around. And in its Smogon, it can do, again, pretty much anything. You can lead with it via Spikes, Sash, Endeavor, Suicide Lead, whatever you want to call it. I said Endeavor, but I don't think it gets Endeavor. Anyways, you can be offensive, you can set up with Cosmic Power, with Calm Mind, with Swords Nest, with Dragon Nest, with so many different things. So I find that this Pokemon is just so incredibly powerful, and this is going to be my tier list. So if you guys disagree anywhere, let me know, and you can be free to argue with me in the comments, but I can tell you right now, you're probably going to be wrong, and I should probably get going as well, because my cat is losing her damn mind here. She just won't stop, like, meowing and purring up all over me and, like, bothering me. So can you stop it, please? Thank you. Appreciate it. But that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. If this video gets to, let's say, 30 likes, I want to go, no, let's say higher, 40 likes, 40 likes within the first, let's say, week and a half, 2 weeks, I will do a Gen 2 video, Gen 2 tier list. I have other tier list videos in the works, so make sure to stick around for those. I have other videos coming up as well. Top 6s are making a return. I have the thumbnails for most of them done. Script has been written for most of them as well, so I'm excited to see if we can do that again. So guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.